Keanu Reeves' childhood nanny calls him, after 30 years. When Keanu's phone rang, he almost didn't answer. A number from his tiny hometown flashed on the screen. Curiosity won. The frail voice on the line. It was Maria, the woman who once raised him like her own son. She wasn't asking for anything, just wanted to hear his voice one last time. She was sick and alone. Keanu's voice cracked. He asked for her address, but didn't say why. The next morning, a black SUV pulled up outside Maria's tiny apartment. A man stepped out, holding an envelope and keys. What was inside the envelope had Maria collapsing in shock. Maria's trembling hands barely managed to open the thick envelope. Inside was a deed. Her name was on it. Below that, photos of a serene, sunlit cottage overlooking a glistening lake, surrounded by trees that whispered stories to the wind. She blinked. Her heart pounded. This wasn't just any house, this was her dream house. A quiet place she had once described long ago to a young Keanu. During bedtime stories, when he couldn't sleep, she had spoken of her fantasy home. The wraparound porch, the garden of lavender and mint, the soft rocking chair, where she'd grow old watching sunsets. Keanu had remembered. Tears spilled from her eyes, before she could say a word. The man, tall and polite, handed her the keys with a soft smile. "There's more," he said gently, guiding her toward the SUV. Inside, the leather interior smelled of pine and lavender. As the engine hummed to life, Maria felt like she was floating. The journey felt surreal. She didn't know where they were going, but something in her soul told her it was right. Hours later, they arrived. The cottage stood exactly like the picture, except even more beautiful. The golden hour sunlight bathed it in a warm glow. Birds flitted through trees, and wind chimes sang in the breeze. And standing by the gate, leaning casually like he had all the time in the world, was Keanu. "Hi, Maria." Her hand flew to her mouth. He looked older now, wiser, but the kindness in his eyes hadn't changed one bit. "I couldn't let you be alone," he said, pulling her into an embrace that felt like home. Over dinner on the porch, they talked for hours. Maria laughed like she hadn't in years. Keanu told her about the foundation he had secretly set up in her name to support retired caregivers. "You always gave, Maria. Now it's time the world gives back." She couldn't stop crying, but the night wasn't over. As stars lit the sky, Keanu stood and gestured for her to follow him behind the house. There, nestled among the trees, was a small studio. He opened the door, and Maria gasped. The walls were filled with paintings, sketches, and crafts, all memories of her life. There were photos of Keanu as a child, pressed flowers from her favorite books, and even her old recipes, framed like art. "This is your museum," he said. "You mattered, Maria, and I never forgot." For the first time in years, Maria felt truly seen. Maria lived 5 more beautiful years in that cottage. Every Sunday, Keanu would visit, sometimes bringing fresh bread, sometimes books, always love. When she passed, he held her hand. Until the last breath, her final words were, "Thank you for remembering me." Keanu made sure she was buried under the great oak tree behind the house, where wildflowers bloomed every spring. A plaque stands there now. It reads, "For Maria, who raised a boy with love and showed the world what quiet strength looks like."